Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to a new video. Welcome to the outskirts of Moscow. Now I've got a pretty cool or interesting video for you today. I thought I'd take you for a walk around a shopping center. Now this particular one is very interesting, and it's perhaps not like any other shopping center video you've seen on the channel. It's right behind me. Let's go and check it out together. The actual name of the shopping center is called Hanoi-Moscow, and it's such an interesting place. Now, I've actually never been here before. Imagine all the years I've lived in Moscow and I've never been to it. Now, from the outside, it's not particularly picturesque and beautiful. It's really a fairly old building that the actual shopping center's in. But what's super interesting is next door, and they actually have their own hotel slash apartments right here, and you can actually buy apartments in this building, and there is also an option to get a hotel room here as well. And it just seems so out of place that there's a hotel attached to this shopping center right here on the outskirts of Moscow. Really is a nice sunny day today, and the car park here is absolutely full. There is actually some older Soviet-style apartments off in the distance, which are very much walking distance to this place, so they're very fortunate. Now, I'm gonna just miss it, I think, but I caught the previous bus to this one that's just leaving, so it's got its own bus. Well, this is actually the public transport of Moscow that comes right here to the actual shopping center. Before I go inside, I actually want to thank a Telegram channel subscriber who recommended that I come here and make a video, and they thought I'd find it very interesting, and it really is. Now, my wife just called me, and that's why this part of the video is about 10 minutes after the previous clip, and she said, make sure you're going to have something to eat. And 100% I'm going to go up to the food court and check out what they've got. This particular shopping center isn't very big if you compare it to some of the bigger, larger, huge shopping centers in Moscow. This is a very modest sized one. First thing we're greeted with is this roof right here, and these blue skies are just beaming the light inside, and this little mini atrium, if you like, right here at the entrance. Now, I'm going to try and walk around as much as I can without cutting, so that it gives you a bit of an idea of the place and what's here, because I think it's super interesting. Now, I think the name of the shopping center gives it away a little. Hanoi, as in Vietnam, and the majority of the shops in this shopping center are Vietnamese shops. Now, we'll walk in and out of a couple of them so you get an idea. So there is a mixture of food shops and sort of smaller supermarkets, and then there is some clothing stores. This particular one in front of me here is more like a luggage store, and it's got all sorts of bags and interesting travel accessories. And then the shopping center is very traditional Russian, I'm going to say Rynok style almost, or at least the older Soviet style shopping center, where a lot of the places were more mum and dad style shops, and there's such a mixture of things in them as you walk around that you don't know where to look as you kind of see each store. Perhaps I need a new chessboard, and you can get tobacco products as well. That's pretty interesting. We even got some whiskey barrels there. I wonder if you put wine in those or whiskey. And then another market here. So one of the things they've got in the window of almost all of them is they've got fresh fruits. And of course that's a very big thing in Vietnam and most Asian cities. And they've got some very nice mangoes in the window right there. And the stores are all predominantly Asian-related products or Vietnamese products. And it's just very interesting that there's an entire shopping center dedicated to this. Imagine all the years I've lived here, I've never been told about this place or told to come here and check it out. It's just fascinating. There's another store here with all the different foods, some fresh fruits as well, and then lots of different snacks and different spices. And I think pretty much anything associated with Vietnam or Asia in general. There's also some Korean things in here as well, and all different things, even just maybe you want something for your house or even different washing powders they've got. It's super interesting. Now I hope if you're watching my channel for the first time, perhaps this might be something that you're interested in that you didn't know existed in Moscow, or maybe you're here because you like the shop and shopping center videos. Have a look at those mangoes right there and pineapples. Wow, definitely not grown in Moscow. I wonder where they all come from. Now there is a little bit of odd mixed up shops in this market as well. A bedding store. This particular company is in all shopping centers in Moscow and in Russia. I don't think a lot of people are coming for bedding in a place like this. And again, more fruits, and then different snacks, teas and coffees, dried fruits, and then even different drinks. So if you've traveled somewhere in Asia, perhaps that's probably what's drawing everybody to this place. There is actually a very large supermarket here called Magnit, which is a very popular Russian brand, typical supermarket. And I think it's more like a hypermarket, just looking at the size of it compared to the local ones where I live. And then we get back to the Vietnamese stores. Now there is a little bit of Russian writing on all the signs, which is quite interesting, especially to point out the different fruits and vegetables that they've got and sell. And that Asian style store where everything's crammed into a small space, and literally the whole supermarket is in about a 15 square meter space that it takes up. Oh, have a look at the mandarins. Oh, very nice. So I was actually calling it a rynek, and then someone corrected me just now, so thank you. It's more like a bazaar, which I think makes sense if you put it in the rankings of different types of shopping centers here in Russia. So there's not just food stores, there's also things where they've got ornaments and wood carvings and incense and some different types of shampoos and soaps. Wow, and that smell as you walk in. Have a look at some of the carvings up the top there. They're very cool. Wow, very interesting. Even you can get some different perfumes and incense. Oh, and have a look at the ducks. How cool are they? I really hope my wife isn't going to watch this video because she loves mangoes and different fruits, particularly when we've traveled to Asia. And I think she'll be very upset when she might watch this and see some of the things that I'm pointing out. They've actually even got some Indonesian candy there as well, which is very interesting. And then more fresh fruit and dried fruits, all sorts of different fresh mangoes. What I really find fascinating is everybody that's coming shopping here obviously are local Russians or people from Moscow that are coming to this shopping center, and obviously they know about it, and perhaps it's almost a small secret that they don't tell everybody because they don't want their favorite thing not to be available. And again, more Vietnamese snacks and treats. And they've got a whole wall of instant noodles as well. Very nice. These Korean noodles, perhaps Vietnamese noodles. And if you want different types of rice, more than enough choices. We'll look at the bananas right here. Now, someone's going to have to tell me the name of some of these fruits because I'm not really versed with all the different types. There is quite a lot of shops that do look like they're repeated a little bit, but I think each one has a little bit of a different selection from the next. But a lot of snacks and chips and treats. I think that's the best way to describe it. And different types of coffees and teas, and then soaps.
And Russian beautiful girls.
Oh, well, there. I have an entire separate video just of beautiful ladies. But yeah, there's a lot of different things and variety as you walk around. Especially if you've traveled to this part of the world, probably a lot of things start becoming very familiar. I feel like I need to almost walk in every shop that I'm seeing as I walk around. There is a lot of interesting things, and especially the fact that the shops are so small, they've just got thousands of objects in them that you kind of miss as you walk past them. Have a look at all these different trinkets right here and little collectible objects. I wonder if anyone's been to Vietnam. Perhaps you've got some of these things at home. Maybe there's one of these umbrellas or fans. Maybe even one of these lanterns. Maybe you've got one of these up in your kitchen somewhere, or perhaps it's just a souvenir that you brought home and it's in the cupboard. It's really nice too to be able to walk into little shops like you're seeing, and the staff are super friendly and more than willing to explain about their shop and the items that they've got and where they got them from and brought them here to Russia to sell in this shopping center. This place actually has a couple of the discount or low-cost supermarkets as well, but we don't want to put that in this video. That's something completely separate. We really just want to go and check out the Vietnamese market and then get upstairs to the food courts. And then coming up to the second level, pretty much everything up here is then all clothing and shoes. You can also buy material, bed sheets, and they've got these very, I'm going to say, Asian looking shoe stores. I've been to Bali quite a lot in Thailand, and they love to put the shoes out like this where they've just got walls of them and so many styles and colors. It's really interesting. Now, because I've not been here before, I think my excitement level of seeing something different is a little bit higher than going to my normal local shopping center and walking in there and making a video. There's one here that's got cosmetics and creams and lotions and predominantly Asian or Vietnamese cosmetics. There's another clothing store here, and this is also very bizarre style how they put them out and just have every model on display and as high as you can possibly display them. Now, of course, there is an element of Russia here still with all the different winter coats and jackets and having, you know, everything that's, you know, current season, let's say. There's another kind of a health shop, do you call it that? Where they've got different remedies and different medications and things for good health. I think that's the best way to put it. Also, plenty of different aloe vera related stuff. It looks like there is this entire upstairs level just dedicated to clothes and shoes and different fashions. My favorite flashing lights. Have a look, even Garfield, who's right here. I think a lot of people know who Garfield is. And I think they've got lots of different, definitely, styles of fashion on display. Oh, the LED lights. My eyes are going a bit funny from them flashing away. More shoes and more clothes. And it just wraps around this whole upstairs level. That's a nice, easy name to put on the top of the door there. Made in Vietnam. And I think they obviously take pride in the fact that it's not from China, which we know everything really is. Have a look at this store. This is pretty much only men's stuff, and a lot of it as well. Wow, all these jackets, and then shoes, a lot of shoes. And pretty much every style you could possibly imagine. There's definitely more shoes in this shopping center than there is in about 5 shopping malls in Moscow. There really is just store after store of clothes. And they're not little shops either, they're very big. And the amount of stuff in them as well is just overwhelming almost. Now this is a bizarre style where they put every model on display. It's certainly not how Gucci do it with just 1 or 2 items. They really just fill the whole shop up with as many things as they can. Res Sam. It's a little bit more of a clothing store feel to it compared to all the previous ones. And they've got nice racks and displays. Oh, these are, again, so much stock. I really hope you're finding this video interesting, and especially as much as I am discovering this place. Now, imagine all the years I've lived here. It took until last week for someone to mention that this place existed in Moscow. And I had to come here and make a video. Of course, a lot of shop and supermarket videos on the channel, so it just makes sense to come here and just show what this place really is like. There's a very big walk-through, almost supermarket size shop here as well. And lots of snacks and food, very similar to what we saw downstairs, but this is essentially a supermarket sized place. Have a look how big it is. And all the different choices. Now, I've never actually been to Vietnam. I've been to Bali and Thailand way too many times. But Vietnam I've never been to, so a lot of these brands I don't recognize as I'm walking around. And there's just so many things that I just don't know about. Imagine whole supermarket that I don't recognize some of the things on the shelves. I've come across a shop that is pretty much the only one that's not Vietnamese in this whole place, and it has amber, or more specifically Russian amber, and this place is absolutely amazing. Now, if anyone hasn't heard of amber before, essentially it's petrified tree sap that comes from a tree or from some kind of a tree, if that makes sense, and it's frozen over time, and it goes back thousands of years how old it is, and they make different types of jewelry out of it. And this is all Russian produced or Russian sourced amber. You can even buy some pieces there if you want to do something yourself. And there's just some unbelievably cool amber pieces and all the different types of jewelry and trinkets. There's even knives and forks there. It is just absolutely very interesting. I'm a little bit lost for words. Now, of course, the whole shopping center is is about Vietnam, and Hanoi-Moscow is the name of the place, but just found this Russian amber shop here. This is truly unique, and just the different objects that are available, and all very reasonably priced. I mean, this is something that dates back thousands of years, and a lot of the price of the product comes from the maker of the jewelry and the intricacy of the different jewelry objects. But just fascinating to see. Has anyone got any amber jewelry, or perhaps you've traveled to Russia and bought this before? Maybe you've seen it in other countries. Please let me know in the comments. So I think it works out that 99% of this shopping center is Vietnamese, and then 1% is Russian, and that's it. Lots more clothing stores. And again, they're not small shops. These are very big, and just the amount of choices. You can walk in and definitely find something in here, and if you can't, I'm not sure where you can go shopping otherwise in Moscow. I think, with the exception of a few people who do come to do some shopping for clothes and shoes, this upstairs level is probably the main reason people are coming here. And actually, this is pretty much where all the people are, is up in the food court on this upstairs level. And it's actually a very spacious food court, and as big as most shopping centers in Moscow. This whole upstairs level is just Vietnamese restaurants, or cafes, I think is the right word. Now we'll get a little bit closer to some of them, so we're going to have a look at what's on the menu. But it just wraps around this whole upstairs area here. And that's probably about 40 or more cafes. Now even I want to find something to eat because I'm hungry just walking up here. It's definitely interesting to see everybody at the different stands, and I think perhaps a lot of people have a favorite cafe that they come to and a certain dish that they prefer. And just from the menu on the wall here, now they've got a lot of stuff that's made basically to order, and then also the fresh drinks as well, especially the fact all of that fresh fruit that we saw downstairs. And it's just a matter of finding the one that I want. Now, the good thing with coming to these styles of cafes is they've got photographs of things, so you can generally just point to something that you think you're going to like and then go for it. Have a look at all the smoothie drinks right there. Wow. And there's just cafe after cafe with different offerings. Now this is pretty much, for me, one of the secrets of Moscow. Now I'm very curious for anybody who's in Moscow to please comment and let me know if you knew about this place. Perhaps you like Asian cuisine or Vietnamese cuisine, because there's a lot of people here coming to have some food. And the big difference here is you've not got any kind of burger places or pizza places. There's not even sushi here. It's just purely all Vietnam style dishes and all of the things that most people know very well from traveling to Asia generally. And it's just store after store with different food. There is a lot of people here. I mean, okay, there's a few empty tables, but there's just such a fascination, I think, with having Vietnamese food. The only thing is now, it's just a matter of finding the dish that I like and finding the shop that I want to get it from, because everything looks very good. And there's another 20 more. wrapped around the whole edge here of the upstairs level. There's a lot of choices. And have a look, Coca-Cola right there. And again, more fresh drinks and food. My gosh, I'm spoilt for choice. So I finally settled on a place, actually just over here, called Tom. Now, not sure who he is, I didn't even meet him, but I got myself tom yum soup. Perhaps that's maybe where the name come from. Maybe that's their specialty. And I got some spring rolls and a can of Coca-Cola all the way from Afghanistan. It seems like this is the popular one that you can get here in Moscow. So I'm gonna have a little bit of lunch. This looks very delicious, by the way. Oh, beautiful. Now, I enjoy tom yum soup anywhere I go, but there's just something about coming to this kind of a food court where it's not just, you know, cooked by some guys from Georgia or Uzbekistan. These are really Vietnamese people that are working here and cooking the food. Oh, it's got coconut milk in there. Delicious. Let me see how the spring rolls are. Now, I think the best thing to do with this is to use some of the sauce and give it a little dunk. Oh. 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 This is very good. Now, of course, I had 40 or so different choices of cafe that I could have chosen, and I decided to come to the one that had more people sitting around it, which is always a good sign when you go to an Asian restaurant. When there's Asian people eating there and it's busy, you know the food's good, but this is amazing. So I have to say, that was absolutely delicious. And, you know, a lot of people who do food tasting sometimes just say it's great and, you know, make the video a little bit more interesting, but really and truly that was a very nice soup. And the spring rolls, they're literally made in the back there, nothing out of a packet, nothing that isn't what I would call authentic. As I slowly make my way out of the shopping center, there's still a lot of people in here. Perhaps there's more now than when I came a little bit earlier. I think a lot of people come for like a late lunch or dinner in the food court upstairs. And then definitely people buying things in the different shops. Obviously this is a destination that people are coming to solely to find Vietnamese products and different sorts of fresh fruits and all of the different snacks. It's just such an interesting place, and I hope it's come across in the video that way. You know, these little market shops are just so fascinating. And then these mangoes right here, and just all the choices of foods. Just so many things to choose from. It's such a unique shopping center here in Moscow. As I make my way outside the shopping center and wait for my bus, you can see everybody waiting right behind here. We're all catching the same bus. We're not lucky enough to have a car to take us home, so the public bus it is. I really hope you've enjoyed this video and this walk around of Hanoi-Moscow. That was my first time coming here, and I think it'll be my last, especially to come for some food upstairs in the food court there. It was delicious. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and let me know that you enjoyed it. Post a comment. Let me know, are you a fan of Vietnamese food or Asian cuisine? That'll be interesting to know. Maybe somebody's actually been there before. You can let me know in the comments. If you want to join me on Telegram, my link is coming up right now. And then if you want to see an old video from the channel, there'll be a link right here to watch another video on the channel. As I join the line to catch the bus home, I'm off on another adventure. Bye everybody.